What classes as a legal immigrant in the UK? A legal immigrant in the UK is someone who has entered and remains in the country with valid permission under UK immigration law. This status is granted through various visa routes and legal frameworks that define who can live, work, study, or seek protection in the UK. Here's a breakdown of what qualifies someone as a legal immigrant. Legal immigration status in the UK. To be considered a legal immigrant, a person must meet one or more of the following conditions. Hold a valid visa or residence permit issued by the UK Home Office. Examples include work visas, student visas, family visas, and visitor visas. Be granted asylum or refugee status after applying for international protection. Have indefinite leave to remain, ILR, or settled status, which allows permanent residence. Be a citizen of a country with special arrangements, such as Irish citizens who can live and work in the UK without a visa. Be covered by EU settlement scheme if they were living in the UK before Brexit and applied successfully. Legal frameworks that govern immigration. Immigration Act 1971 establishes the foundation of UK immigration control. Nationality and Borders Act 2022 introduces new rules for asylum, deportation, and border enforcement. UK immigration rules detail criteria for each visa type, including eligibility, sponsorship, financial requirements, and permitted activities. Why legal status matters. Legal immigrants have access to rights and services such as employment, if visa permits, healthcare, limited or full access depending on visa type, education, protection under UK law. In contrast, illegal immigrants face restrictions and may be subject to detention or removal. What benefits or perks do legal immigrants get? Legal immigrants in the UK may be eligible for certain benefits, but access depends on their immigration status and whether they have permission to claim public funds. Those with settled status or indefinite leave to remain typically have broader access than temporary visa holders. Benefits legal immigrants may access. Eligibility for UK benefits is tied to whether someone has access to public funds. Here's what legal immigrants might receive. If they have access to public funds, e.g., refugees, those with ILR or settled status. Universal credit, financial support for living costs. Child benefit, payments for raising children. Housing benefit, help with rent. Council tax reduction. Job seekers allowance, if actively seeking work. Income support, for low-income households. Disability and carers benefits, such as TIP or carers allowance. Social housing, eligibility to apply for council housing. Free NHS care, full access to healthcare services. If they do not have access to public funds, e.g., most work, student, or visitor visas, cannot claim benefits like universal credit or housing benefit, may still access emergency NHS care, education for children, legal aid in some cases, charity or local council support for essentials, immigration status and public funds. Your visa or residence permit will state whether you have no recourse to public funds, NRPF. This restriction applies to many temporary visas and means you cannot claim most government benefits. However, some people can apply to have NRPF lifted if they're facing hardship or have children in the UK. NHS access. All legal immigrants can use emergency services, GP registration, COVID-19 vaccinations, maternity care. Those with long-term visas, over 6 months, usually pay the immigration health surcharge, which grants full NHS access during their stay. Housing and education. Children of legal immigrants are entitled to free state education. Social housing is available only to those with access to public funds. Private renting is open to all, but landlords must check immigration status. As of mid-2025, there are approximately 10.5 million legal immigrants living in the UK, including those with visas, settled status, and citizenship through naturalization. This figure reflects the diverse and evolving landscape of UK immigration, shaped by work, study, family, humanitarian, and EU settlement routes. Here's a breakdown of the latest insights. Legal immigrant population in the UK, 2025. According to the UK Home Office and immigration analysts, total legal immigrants estimated at 10.5 million, including work visa holders. Over 182,000 new work visas were issued to main applicants in the year ending June 2025. Study visa holders. Numbers declined due to policy changes affecting dependents. Family visa holders. Mixed trends, with some routes seeing growth. Refugees and asylum grantees. Continued resettlement through humanitarian routes. EU settlement scheme. Millions of EU nationals retained legal status post-Brexit. Naturalized citizens. Many immigrants transition to permanent residence and citizenship. Trends and shifts. Work visas saw a sharp decline, -36%, compared to the previous year, especially in health and care sectors. Refugee resettlement continued, though temporary schemes wound down. Citizenship applications rose, indicating more immigrants are making the UK the permanent home. Legal immigrants to the UK come from a wide range of countries, with the largest numbers in recent years arriving from India, Nigeria, China, Pakistan, and the Philippines. These countries top the list for work, study, and family visas, as well as humanitarian routes. Here's a closer look at the most common countries of origin for legal immigrants to the UK in 2025. India remains the top source country for both work and student visas. Nigeria and the Philippines have surged due to NHS recruitment in health and care roles. China continues to dominate international student numbers, especially at postgraduate level. Ukraine and Hong Kong represent major humanitarian and political migration routes. Common lies about legal immigrants in the UK include claims that they automatically get benefits, take jobs from locals, or receive special housing privileges. These myths are not supported by facts and often fuel misunderstanding and discrimination. Here's a breakdown of the most widespread misconceptions. Top myths about legal immigrants in the UK. 1. Legal immigrants get free housing and benefits immediately. False. Most legal immigrants have no recourse to public funds, NRPF, stamped on their visas, meaning they cannot access benefits like universal credit or council housing. Only those with settled status, refugee status, or indefinite leave to remain may qualify for public support. 2. Marrying a British citizen gives automatic citizenship. Incorrect. Marriage does not grant automatic citizenship or settlement. The spouse must apply for a visa and meet strict financial and residency requirements. 3. Immigrants drive down wages. Debunked. Studies show immigration does not reduce wages, even for low-paid workers. In fact, immigrants often fill skill gaps and contribute to job creation. 4. Asylum seekers and refugees are illegal immigrants. Wrong. Refugees and asylum seekers are legally protected under international and UK law. Seeking asylum is a legal right, and those granted refugee status are legal immigrants. 5. All immigrants are here for benefits. Misleading. Most legal immigrants come to the UK for work, study, or family reasons. Many pay taxes, contribute to the economy, and are not eligible for benefits. 6. You can't switch visa types once in the UK. Not true. In many cases, legal immigrants can switch visa categories, such as from student to skilled worker, without leaving the UK, provided they meet the criteria. Why these myths persist? Sensational media coverage, political rhetoric during elections, lack of public understanding of immigration law, social media misinformation. The reality: legal immigrants must follow strict visa rules, often pay visa fees and health surcharges, contribute to the UK economy and public services, face complex legal hurdles to settle or naturalize.